Hi. So I've decided to come to my my happy, or perhaps just slightly less miserable place for this one. It's a slightly different one, not part of the usual programming perhaps. So it's kind of an update on the electric bike situation. So I've made a few videos. I had someone very recently inquire about it, and I kind of said it was something of a curate's egg, good in parts. Now, just earlier, this was yesterday, earlier today, the system died on me again, which is a bit frustrating. I mean, what's happened, over the course of the last year or so, we had a few problems. We had problems with damp in the control unit, so I dried that out thoroughly. We bought a bike cover and started using that, keep the weather off. It seems to work better, although just a lot of very odd things happened. For example, the speed sensing suddenly died for no reason, and then started working again. What else happened? I mean, at one point it just wouldn't turn on at all, so we did the kind of drying it out thing, and that kind of brought it back to life. Most recently, the on-off switch on the main power switch on the battery pack seems to be always on, even though the switch was turned off. So yeah, so in response mainly really to the person who got in touch with me, but also to anyone else who's watching, because I think the videos I did on that system have been quite heavily watched by my standards, at least a few hundred people, which is quite remarkable. I just, at the moment, I can't really in good faith say that I could recommend it, just because of the unreliability of the system. So when it's working, it's been absolutely fantastic. The range is pretty good, the power is very good. You know, I would say we're probably using it to what am I trying to say? As kind of casual users, we're probably pushing it to the kind of corners of its envelope. We're towing children up and down hills and going quite long distances. You know, we live in the Forest of Dean. It's a very hilly part of the world. So when it's been working, I've got no complaints at all. Very easy to use. The problem is it just seems to not be reliable, and just spontaneously decide not to work for no reason. It's kind of more like a horse than it is a machine. I mean, strangely enough, it's never actually broken at any time that it really mattered. It won't, you know, once you've got going on it and out there, it seems to work all day. But you need to be able to trust it, because when it isn't working, you're obviously carrying more weight than you were expecting, and you know, you may have extended yourself more than you might have done without it. So then, you know, the worst case scenario, you are at your furthest point, your perigee of your kind of perambulations, and suddenly find that you essentially had half as many legs as you thought. So yeah, so at the moment, not kind of great technology, just the reliability is just a real problem. And you know, we spent about £800 on it, which is a lot of money, really. It's a lot of money for anyone, and it's definitely a lot of money for us. I mean, you could probably just about get an very small old car on the road for that. So yeah, so a bit frustrated. So we're now contemplating having to engage with Cyclotricity's customer service, which you do get a response. It's a bit like talking to someone on another planet. it somehow feels very very distant. The turnaround times on messages is quite slow, and I failed so far to get anyone on the end of a phone, which is really all I mean, the best thing would be just to have someone that I could talk to about it. I mean, it's nascent technology, and I'm a technically competent person. I mean, I don't mind getting under the bonnet of things. So, you know, I mean, if I could speak to someone about it and maybe discuss reasons why it might have failed, where I could look to find places to, you know, troubleshoot it. But at the moment, although I've probably got the tooling and the ability to open the thing up and seeing if I could diagnose the fault, I don't really want to yet, because it just doesn't feel like I should have to. I mean, looking at the actual design of the machine itself, it does worry me slightly that the motor unit is essentially the lowest point of the whole system, and is fully enclosed with no means for any water to escape if it got in. Probably because I think the thing is running in some kind of an oil bath in an attempt to be maintenance free. But the problem is that there is a point where the drive has to leave the comfort and security of the inside of the unit and actually go out into the big wide world and develop some torque and put it into a chain. So there's an interface there between the outside world in which we live, the imperfect world we occupy, and the inside where everything's nice and lubricated and hopefully dry. And I'm wondering whether I'm just not sure whether that interface has been sufficiently well designed. That seal, that moving seal, which is always a technically challenging thing. I mean, you ask a submariner. So yeah, so whether or not that's something that needs to be worked on. But yeah, so yes. So in summary, I can't really recommend this thing right now. I think it needs more work, and I think that the company that supplies it maybe needs to be, or try to be, a little bit more communicative and a bit more engaged in terms of helping people to you know, helping people through the user experience, especially if it is, and I do appreciate it's early days for electric bikes, and so you're going to get these teething troubles. But I mean, I think it'd be better to bring the customer with you rather than be distant. So we're gonna go through the process of trying to contact them again. But I wanted to make this video just because I sense that people are interested and maybe want to know more about what's going on with it. And I mean, I would probably advise anyone who was thinking of getting a retrofittable mid-drive electric unit, maybe hold your fire for a while, because I think there is more work to be done. Having said that, at the time when we were looking, the Cyclotricity unit was really the only machine on the market that actually really delivered what we needed, as far as we could tell. I know that there were other big name brands that produce systems, but they were almost always pre-fitted to bikes that were sold as electric bikes and integrated into the frame. And I think the beauty of the Cyclotricity system was that it could be retrofitted, and it's, I mean, you can sense my frustration. It's very well, I think, a well designed, well thought out piece of kit, and it wasn't that hard to fit at all. Well, I'm kind of frustrated just because I don't feel like I can rely on it actually working, because again, when it works, it's been fantastic. We've had some cracking days out with it. So, you know, in a sense, this video is saying, come on, just coming up on 10 minutes, see if I can finish on exactly on 10 minutes. Yeah, come on, Cyclotricity, engage, and let's try and work through sorting out these problems. Whether it's with the design itself, or whether it's with the use case, or whether it's just with the guidance that you give to people to say there are some things that you really should not do with it. Okay, I've got 7 seconds left. I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching if you have, and I hope this was useful. Goodbye.